from there. Well, all right. So I am with Strat Soldier tonight, and
Hey,
it is such a privilege to be able to finally get to talk to you and to just take this time and ask you some of the questions that we have as a group. Uh, for those of you who don't know, we have a Discord server that specializes in the Strat as well. And Jermaine is one of these guys that we have a deep, deep, deep respect for because he is disciplined. I think you're probably the most disciplined trader I know out there.
well, I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's tough. It is. It can be. It's definitely something you have to get yourself to just like, you know what? I said I was going to do it like this, and I'm going to do it like that. So that's what I want to say first. And I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be on. And this is awesome opportunity, Phil. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just like I said, blown away that we're actually talking now, and this is great. And I know a lot of our members are going to enjoy this, and hopefully a lot of your members and followers will enjoy it as well.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I guess I'll just give you a quick background for a minute as far as who I am, because I'm sure a lot of people are saying, "Who the hell is this guy?" And so I'll start with this. My name is Phil McPhee, and I have been trading for 15 plus years. And like most people, I blew up two accounts, got pissed off, got very frustrated, hired and fired myself about 500 times, and then finally stumbled upon the Strat. Tried it for about a year, failed miserably because I didn't understand it. And then one day I found out that they were actually going to have a get together in St. Louis with Rob. And so I got my wife with me and said, "We're going to St. Louis tonight and we're going to go meet this guy." And so that's what
Yes.
we did.
Hmm.
And I tell you what, I only talked to him for like 2.5, 3 hours, but it was life changing. It was
Yes.
life changing.
I,
So
I want I don't want to interrupt you in the middle of your intro, but yeah, I met Rob and so I was in Rob's live room and Rob's took Rob, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Rob's live course and in was in his live stream trading with him and when I was supposed to be working during the day, I'm like listening to Rob at 9 o'clock because there's nothing happening at 9 o'clock at work. So
you're
exactly.
one of these guys.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna do the pre-market show." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So,
Right.
yeah, so I was doing that, and then you're right. I got to meet Rob in person, and it's it's more Rob. It was like extra Rob. It was everything that you imagined, but more. And you don't really get to meet a lot of people like that. Like for example, Phil, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but you didn't have the camera on. I want to say this first. I've been a fan because me and you follow each other on Twitter for a long time. I want to say that first.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
we meet each other, we're talking, we're hearing each other's voices, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, you're like, you're having technical difficulties. Can you see my face? No, I can't. And then your face blinked on, and I was like, did not expect that. I thought you were gonna be a white dude. I
That's
thought
all
I was
right.
talking to a guy from Wisconsin or something. Like, I don't know. It's just a funny thing. It's a funny thing.
So to add to that, Duran, true story, right? I'm a freshman going to UNL, University of Nebraska Lincoln, right?
Okay.
And I have family in this area because I was
Okay. Okay.
adopted. I was adopted. Okay, this is a true story now. And I go to UNL, my car breaks down, and I go to a dealership, and the guy who comes out and helps me, and we start talking. I said, "Mike, yeah, I'll just take this one, right?" And we walk to his desk, and I look at his nameplate, and it says McPhee. And I said, "You're a
Okay.
McPhee, huh?" And he said, "Yeah, what's it to you?" And I said, "I'm a McPhee too." And he just kind of looked at me, and he was like, "You're my cousin?" And I'm like, "Yeah, don't let the last name fool you. I'm Irish, I know, but I mean, they chose me. I didn't choose them, right? One of those things,
That's
one of those.
funny.
just trying to lighten up the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. That's
I
hilarious.
get that a lot. And the other thing that really throws people is that I don't have an accent.
Yeah, and I did, and that's what I don't. Cause I'm trying really hard to keep it funny and not get canceled on my first interview with Phil. So
That's
for
it. You're
everybody
fine. No,
out there looking at your screen, I just didn't expect it. Okay, we were talking about the Cubs. We were talking about all kind of other stuff. All right, and I did
yeah,
not expect him to have no weird accent. All right.
that's all right. So that's how they do things in South Dakota because I grew up in the central part of South Dakota,
There you go. Yeah.
and we don't have an accent. Even
Mm.
though people think we say Minnesota really goofy, but
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah.
accent. But
Mhm.
anyway, let's get
Anyway,
down to this interview. Let's start going through some of this stuff.
yep,
How's
and
that
just
sound?
and then meeting people. And so I said all that to say when I met Rob live, and I know you experience the same thing. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, oh, I thought you'd be taller or shorter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I said all that to be funny. But yeah, I met Rob for the first time, and it was amazing. I got to see all his screens, and I'll send you a picture of it, pictures of it if you haven't seen them. But it was his entire setup, his rig, and he had 16 monitors, and I want to say the number is like 32-inch, but that's not big. They were bigger than that. I mean, they were big screens,
Right.
big honking screens, and
Yeah.
he had his entire universe up on all the screens, and he would go, this is XRT, this is XLV, down here is VXX, over here is these are all the things that are green right now, these are all the things that are red, and he would be,
Hmm.
so I'm looking at you, and he's got his headphones on, and he would just be pointing at where he knew where everything was without like looking over at stuff. He knew, and he would
Yeah.
go, okay, it's the first around the horn. It's the 15 minutes. Let's go around the horn. And he would switch. He would hit a button, and it was like a wave, like at one of those Cub games they do the wave, and it
Yeah.
was
Right.
all the screens changed to the 15-minute chart. And he goes, "These are inside. We got some hammers over here. There's a couple shooters. And stay away from these because these are still doing nothing." And it was an
Right.
amazing experience.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had an invitation to go see his setup, but
Mm-hmm.
he passed before I got there. And I tell
Mm.
you what,
Wow.
I regret it because it's one of those things where death kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And here I had this opportunity to go meet the man, right? I mean, and go see him at his workplace.
Yeah.
But I always had that I'll do it someday. No, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
And then he passed, right? And it took him, and then there was like a wave of family members that passed as well. And I just said,
Mhm.
you know what? Life is too damn short here.
Yeah.
Either do something with this or do nothing, but at
And
least make a decision.
yes, and I felt the same way. I was actually on a I'm when I say I'm in the army, it's for real. I am in the army, and I was at some training, and I want to say, yeah, it was 2023. I was at some training, and I was actually on like a 6 mile run, just by myself out running in the heat like a dummy.
Yeah,
And I'm out running, and I got the like my phone's ringing, text messages and stuff, and I got the news, and I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't know what to
yeah,
say. We had that conversation, but it was tough for me because not only was he my friend, I not technically not he was only not only my friend, but he was my coworker. Like I worked with him at Sepia Group. So that's where
yeah,
the whole weekend shift thing started.
yep,
Was he gave me the opportunity to do a weekend show, and I was like, yes. Anyway, so when he passed, I was like, there was a lot of feelings, It was sad. What's going to happen with the show? What are we doing with what's happening to the company? What are we doing? And
right,
I definitely don't want to minimize that and just say, oh, it was all about the money. And it was not, definitely not. It was,
right,
there's going to be a big giant hole, and what are we going to do to make sure that the Strat stays true and stays alive? Because if
yeah,
you've been following me for a while, you remember we used to, I regret some of those times, but you remember we would get on, would get on Twitter and someone would be teaching the strat wrong, and I'm like, nope, that's not it.
That's
And
not
I
it,
would just
man. Try
be,
again.
yeah, I would waste so much. It was a waste of time, and I wish I could have took some of those days back, some of them anyway.
But
But my whole thing was like showing people how to do it right and keeping people away from scammers, like keeping people away from like,
oh God.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully we can, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I say all that to lead this into your questions because I am serious and always been serious about teaching people how to do it right, even especially the brand new people to trading. Like there's so much stuff on
Exactly.
the
Yep.
yeah, there's so much stuff on the internet. There's so many books and not that other trading systems don't work. It's just that if I knew the strat in the beginning, I would have not taken so many losses or you know what I mean? Because at least with the
Exactly.
strat, yeah, because at least with the strat you can
Exactly.
go, I know what I did wrong. With
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
there's something there,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
to add to that, when I met Rob, I told Rob, I looked him dead in the eyes and I said, Rob, I can't thank you enough for this system. And I tell you what, if this ever makes sense to me, because at the time I was a young stratter, right?
Mhm.
I thought I knew it, but I didn't know anything. I knew
Mhm.
enough to be dangerous. And it took a lot of hard work. It took following the right people. Okay, and
Mhm.
I can't emphasize that enough. And so,
Mhm.
for those of you who follow me on X, you'll only see a handful of people that I have a deep, deep respect for because
Same.
there are so many scammers out there. There are
Yeah.
so many people that are full of BS, and they show you the 5,000% that they made, and it's like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
I never lose, right? I never lose. I never
yeah.
lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only chumps lose, and it's like, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, block next.
Yeah. Block. Yeah. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
what what's interesting is that when I had my original Twitter account, when it was back Twitter before
Yeah.
X,
Twitter.
you
I
actually
still call
followed
it
me
Twitter.
before that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you followed me before that.
Yes.
But then after Rob passed, I actually wanted to honor him, and that's where I changed to McStratter.
Oh, cool. Hell
So
yeah.
I wanted to, pay tribute to him and say, hey, you know what? I know that all these people who are following, they're going to lose me, but I also told them, okay, hey, I am now this guy. I'm like Prince, right? I just changed to a
Hell yeah.
symbol.
Yeah. The trader formerly known as McAfee or McPhee.
Yeah, yeah.
McPhee.
McPhee, right? P
Yeah.
McPhee, but now it's McStratter.
There you
So
go.
anyway, that that's great that we can share stories about Rob, and God bless him, and I can't thank him enough. But let's talk about you because you're here. And we have like 10 questions for you. And hopefully we can go through these fairly quick because these are the 10 most common questions that we get in the Discord server.
Okay.
Okay. And the first one is pretty easy. How long did you know Rob Smith?
Oh, so I learned I took Rob's course and found Rob in 2019. So I'm not a COVID trader by just like 1 year.
A COVID trader. You took all that tax money and you just became a COVID trader. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. And then COVID happened. We were like, well, what are you gonna do? So, but yeah, yeah, I want to say fall time frame of 2019 is when I took his course and I was in his live room. So yeah, 2019, and then I actually got to meet him in 2021, I believe, 22, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
yep, and then shortly after that, he was at T3. Then he went to Ticker Talker, and then he started his own thing with Sepia Group. And then I got he asked me if I wanted to do a he asked me and another trader, do we want to do a weekend show? That way, you know, because there was nothing on the weekends before the weekend shift. Everybody stopped
Sure.
talking about trading on Friday.
Friday
Like
at
it
the
was
bell.
done. Yeah. And then Sunday, people like do
Yeah.
things, but it was pretty much done. So that's why we came up with the name, or that's how I came up with the name Weekend Shift, because like Rob's off, I'm on the weekend shift. Here I am. So
Yeah.
that's how that went. So, yep.
Yeah, and they're excellent shows. I watch them. And I'm
Thank
a
you.
subscriber. Guilty as
Thank
charged.
you. Thank you
So,
so much.
so for those of you who are new to the Strat, subscribe to his channel and watch those shows. They're great. You have so much great information in those, you know. And
Thank you.
I love how you'll take the nuggets, right, and then you'll put them together. And so for people
Thank
who
you.
just can't sit there and pay attention, watch those.
Yeah, I
Just
try
pull
to
the nuggets on.
Yeah, I try to take the lessons out of those, and then someone asked me to put chapters on the videos, so I started doing that. So when you watch the
Okay.
weekend shift, the first 15 minutes is me doing the intro. Hey, what's up? This is what happened, and then the next 15 minutes is this is what happened last week, and then actionable
Yeah.
signals right at the bottom of the hour, actionable signals, and then the last 15 minutes is usually like questions and stuff. And if it's going really well, we have a lot of participation and everybody's having fun, it ends up going over.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we end up having
Yeah.
those longer episodes.
Yeah. So one of the best parts about those videos, as you do those, the proof is in the pudding, right? So
Hmm.
when you're talking about potential setups going into the week,
Yeah.
and then it really happens,
Yes.
how
Yes,
do, seriously, how do people argue with that?
they
I
do.
mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
how do you argue with that? Oh, I just got lucky. Yeah, but you've been getting lucky a lot.
I had somebody watch last week's episode. Someone tried to challenge me, and it's been a long time since it's happened, but someone's actually tried to
Yeah,
challenge me on like live during the weekend shift, and I was like, hey, normally, let me go back to what I was saying before. Normally, I would just like, oh, and we're now I'm keyboard warrior, right? But it's a live show,
right.
and I'm doing this for everybody. It's not about me or my ego. So I'm like, hey, check it out. I I'm going to show you what happened last week. We're going to look at what worked and what didn't work, and then at the end of it, you can decide whether you want to trade it or not.
Yeah,
And then if and he tried to taunt me more about, selling courses or whatever. And I'm like, you can watch the weekend shift for free. It's 100% free every Saturday. And
right.
you can learn the strap just by watching me every Saturday. And in the courses and the ebooks and stuff like that, that's to learn it faster. Some people don't want to,
Right.
yeah. So like you said, they don't want to
Well,
pay attention. They can't pay attention at all. Yeah, oh yeah. So,
some
they
some
want they want.
yeah, some people just like that one-on-one attention, right? And
Hmm.
I get that as well within the Discord.
Yeah.
People
Hmm.
are like, I don't do well in a group setting, and I don't do well with live streams. Would
Yeah.
you be willing to teach me? And it's
Yeah.
like, absolutely, absolutely. And there are a lot of great strat teachers out there.
Hmm.
And for the people who say, man, I just keep getting burned and burned and burned, I was like, what are you attracted to that makes you
Hmm.
want to go to this person? And you
Right.
know what it is usually? Well, this dude made 5,000% on this trade
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
0 day option.
Yeah.
And look, he did it again and again and again and again and again. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, that's not real. That's not real. They're selling you a service.
Yes. But sometimes it is real. I want to say, let me preface it with sometimes it is real, but they're still not telling you the whole story. They're not telling you how much they're putting on to make that happen. They're not telling you
Yes.
that it's really a prop firm that they're working with. Nothing wrong with prop firms. Nothing wrong with prop firms.
Right.
But they're not telling you the whole story. They're not telling
They're,
you it took 30
to get there.
contracts at $23 to make that happen.
Yeah, I agree with you with that, Jordan, because it's not like it doesn't happen, because it does happen, because I know people who trade that way.
Yeah,
But as far as a young or a new trader being able to execute that trade
yeah,
and having the confidence and being able to consistently do it, and I know, man, that's like me putting a blindfold on you and
yeah,
telling you to stand in the batter's box and, oh, here, hit this fast pitch that's
yeah,
coming from a major league pitcher.
yeah.
Yeah, you might fall it off, but chances are you're not even going to see the damn thing, right?
No, yeah, it's not even you don't even need a blindfold. You can just if me and you sit there and you teach me how to, let's go with the Cubs. You show me how this is how you hit home run, and this is how you want to be a slugger. This is how you do it, and you're going to hit the ball at this point at this time, and even how you going to tell if it's a fast pitch? Well, you're going to see him do this, and you might see him
Yeah,
do okay, all right, and then I finally get to the plate. and the pitcher's there, and it's a professional pitcher. He throws that ball, and
Yeah.
you're right. You're not even going to see it, and you're going to strike out
Yeah.
every time. And it's because you know you're new. You're new. I'm a new batter. You know what I mean? I'm new at
You're new
this.
to it. You,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Hmm.
I always tell people who come into the Discord, I say, okay, so this is what you're really going up against, right? And I
Hmm.
go to YouTube and I show them this major league pitcher throwing as hard as he can, right? And this guy can't even follow it off. And I
Yeah.
said, this is what you're going up against right now, by the way. These are
That's a great
professionals.
analogy. That's a
Yeah,
great analogy.
these are professionals. They will take your money.
Yes. They will.
They will take your money,
Yes.
and they don't care.
No.
And they will play you like an emotional fiddle
Yeah.
and get you to do the wrong thing.
And I want to get to your questions, but I want to end it with I want to finish this one with saying, and they'll say, well, not everybody's meant to trade. That is the most BS thing I've ever heard.
Yes,
Not
agreed.
everybody's meant to trade. No,
Yeah,
maybe not everybody's meant to trade 5 minute bars. Maybe not everybody's meant to trade. Maybe not everybody's meant to, trade options. I say that a lot. I say that a
yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah,
But it does you can only get good at what you practice. And that
that's right.
yeah, you can only get good at
Yeah.
what you practice. So and that came from Bob Ross, the painter, the guy's like, with a
Bob,
happy little
big old hair,
accident.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
so maybe it's going to take time for you to learn oh, I'm really good at weekly trades and stuff. So I need to get off of these 2 minute charts,
that's
or
right.
maybe I need a whole nother account just for options, and this one's going to be my ones for stocks, and I'm going to hold on to these long-term ones while I'm scalping on this other one. That's just an idea that I talked to a one-on-one person with.
So one of my best students, Johnny
Mhm.
Trader, in our Discord server, he
Mhm.
came to me, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
Rod
Show me the
Tidwell
money.
says,
Yeah.
Jerry, Jerry, just tell me if I need to eat lima beans, I'll eat lima beans, right?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so let's do this. Show me your screen and give me a screenshot of what you're looking at. He sent this thing to me, and I'm like, where the hell's the price?
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. There's so many
And
squiggly wigglies. Yeah.
right, and he's like, no, you don't understand. I'm really hungry to learn how to do this. And I said, okay, prove it to me right now. Reset this whole workspace right here, right now. He did it. He did it.
Nice.
Long story short, he is one of the best long-term swing traders that we have in the group now.
And that's fantastic. And that's fantastic. And I love the idea of the long term thing because it's just let me see something 2-2 reversal up on the year. Go look at VeriSign
Yes.
VR. Go look at VeriSign
Yeah.
VRSN and
Yep.
hammer in force on the year. I know where to
Yes.
get in. And your people, and then this is where people like come in and say, well, where are you going to put a stop at on a yearly chart? Like you can always tighten up the stops, make it make sense, but you know what the
Right.
entry is. You know what the entry is. Let's do it. So, but no, I love that. I love that. What's your first question? Because I feel like I'm derailing you. I'm really good at that.
No,
We're
no,
gonna
you're
be here
not
for two
derailing me.
hours, and
Um,
we're gonna be like,
if anything, this is great because as you know, I just love to have a real conversation,
yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes,
And
yes.
anyone can script anything and anyone
Mhm.
can do anything, but to have a real conversation with one trader to another, I mean, this is the stuff that we deal with, right? When
Mhm.
people come to us and say, "Oh, please, Lord Jesus, please just teach me the strat.
Yeah, yeah,
Please just do something here to help me become profitable."
yeah.
And
Hmm.
the best advice I always give them is, let's just slow it the hell down.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
about
that's
that?
good. Slow it
Let's just
down.
slow it the hell down to something
Hmm.
that makes sense to you. And the majority of the traders that are out there can't do that because they have not worked on the mental side of trading. They are
Hmm.
scared out of their mind to hold it overnight, right?
Uh-huh.
Or they're
Yeah.
just scared to take a loss.
Hmm.
And that part is it's a very, very big part as far as trading goes. But that's a different conversation for a
Yeah,
different
I
time.
was saying, oh, you're gonna
Let's
get
get
me
back to
going
these
again, and
questions.
we're gonna be 2 hours, and they'll be like, the person whoever's watching this is gonna be like, that was 2 hours, and he didn't even ask any of the questions that we wrote down.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Here we go.
No, no, no,
Second
that's
question. question.
my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault.
No, no, this is good. So when you first started, Jermaine, how
Mhm.
much money did you actually set aside and say, listen, I am going to put X amount, and here's the deal. If I lose it all, I'm done.
So I got the idea for about trading. I want to start trading from Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins, the motivator guy, self-help guy,
Motivator,
and yeah,
motivational speaker. Yeah, very good guy.
yep.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, getting in the stock market and this is what you do and how you do it. So my brain started, turn in and I was like, let me get into this. And one of the guys at work showed me about because I started talking about it and he started talking about Robinhood. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then we
Yeah.
started getting into it. And at first I was like, I'm gonna build up an account because I didn't want to take a chunk of money from our savings and throw it in there and see what happens. You know what I mean? I got a wife, I got, 3 kids. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. So
Right.
my my initial thing was I had to put money in to start the account, and then I was gonna just keep putting money into it and then build it up. So then that was my plan. And then once I got like over, let's say I think it was a really small account, like $1,000. It was small, but to me that was big because I've never traded
Right.
ever. Like to thousand
Right.
bucks, that was a big deal. Like if I, and my thing was when I first started, I told my wife, okay, I remember this conversation. It was a long conversation. I was like, this is not about gambling. This is not about trying to, this is not about wasting all our money, because to
Right.
me, at the beginning of start trading, I didn't think about it as gambling, but in my mind, I kept thinking it was gambling. Does that make sense? Like I knew.
It does.
Hmm.
It does because
Yeah.
you know what? I also struggled with that when I first
Hmm.
started
Yeah.
because everyone that you talk to, they're like, yeah, that's gambling. It's like, so
Hmm.
let me get this straight. If I do
Yeah.
it, it's gambling. But if I have a 401k and I contribute to that,
Yeah.
and that guy is actually taking positions in whatever, XYZ,
Yeah.
that's not gambling. Then that's investing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's something wrong with that. And so that was something, in all honesty, I had to come to terms with.
Hmm.
And for me, it literally took me sitting down with my wife, like you did, right?
Yeah.
And saying, honey, listen, I don't know why, but I'm passionate about this. And I think I can be good at it if I just practice and find the right people to hang around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well,
And God
go ahead.
bless my wife. She was like, darling, I will support whatever you decide to do because I love you and I trust you. And
That's
hopefully you
awesome.
have a
She didn't
conversation
say she
similar to
didn't
that.
say any of that. She said, "Okay, don't
She's
lose
like,
all
get
our
your
money."
ass to the curb. No, no, I'm kidding.
No, but to keep going with that same question, though, the second part of that question, or that second part of that story is I had $1,000 in there, and I'm buying stocks, and
Hmm.
everything's good, and I'm learning up. It really wasn't about so much about the candles. I didn't really understand anything about
Right,
the candles, but I'm still watching YouTube stuff, and I'm still trying to figure things out. Really nothing about indicators yet, but we looked at charts every day, me and my buddy, and then we would look at
right,
companies, and then it really started with companies that I knew around the house. I read some other article and it said look for companies that you already own. So so like Ford, GE, Whirlpool, even stuff like Snapchat. Because like I got Snapchat, you know what I mean? Oh, Facebook, I got Facebook.
right.
Apple at
Yeah,
the time, and this will put a little bit of date on it, but Apple was not um, split yet, and it was about two thousand
right.
dollars to get one share of Apple. It was
It was a
crazy.
big boy.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that was
like
my goal.
Amazon.
Yeah, yes, and that was my goal. Is I told myself because I want to get to a point where I can start buying Apple shares because I didn't know anything about splits. I just knew Apple was 2 grand. That's all I knew. So
Right.
that was one of my goals. So the second part of that story is um, he also taught me how to start doing options because I'm doing really good.
Everyone
So
falls in the options,
it
right?
goes, it goes, it always. So about 3 months into it, and that's a long time for me. Again, everything's going up. I didn't
Yeah,
know much about bull markets and bear markets and things and trends and all.
sure.
I didn't know so much about it. I just knew everything I was buying was making money, and I was making profits. I'm pretty good at this. How can I make more? And he's taught me how to buy options into earnings reports,
Right,
which
right.
which we
Yep,
know is bad. But I didn't
right.
know that at the time. But he's telling me all this money that he made
Yeah,
shorting Skechers. There was Skechers, tennis shoes,
yep. The
and
shoes.
he ton of money, and he's
Yeah.
just like, he's telling me how he scaled out, selling contracts, trying to scale out, making his
Oh,
money, and he made about 10 grand, which is awesome. Again, it happens,
yeah.
but he put all of it on. I mean, he had a big account and he put it all. Yeah, exactly. And that's gambling, but that's gambling, and so. I didn't think I was going to do all that, but I did think, okay, Twitter earnings are coming up, and all these articles I'm reading, Twitter has um, never. It always beats. It always beats earnings. It always beats
The
earnings.
sure bet, man. Sure bet.
Always, always. So I sold all my shares, and it wasn't a whole bunch, but it's $1,000 to me, right? That's $1,000. So I
Right.
sold all the shares I had and all the stuff, and I had all my money, and I waited for 3 days for my all the money to settle, and I did all that, and here comes, and I bought contracts on calls on Twitter and Comcast, and I want to say Kroger. I don't know why Kroger, but I
Kroger, yeah.
did. Yeah, I did. And earnings day comes, and I'm thinking I'm going to make all my money back from the losses that I took previously,
Yeah.
learning and things. And it's going to be great. And I'm going to double money. And it's going to be, no,
Right.
it gapped down. First time, yep. First time I've ever seen that. Well, with the options anyway. And
Yeah.
it was bad. And then, so it made sense that I lost money on Twitter because it missed, but Comcast beat earnings and it still was a gap down, and that's where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. When that happened, when Comcast
Yeah.
beat earnings but still gapped down and sold the rest
Gap
of the
down.
day, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing because it should have went to the highs. And so then to finish that story, the end of that day, I know I got out of my contracts and I saved my account. Like it's $500. Like I lost
Yeah.
half of my account that day in one
You blew
day.
it up. Yeah, in one
Yeah,
day.
yeah, half of my account, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop because I remember I had this long conversation with my wife. We're not gambling. We're not
Yeah.
doing all this stuff. We're not losing money. And
Yeah.
so then I stopped and I was like, I gotta find a coach. And I was looking on Twitter, looking on YouTube, trying to find things. And it was actually, I found an article. Um, it was actually an Instagram post of these candles, of these candles, and a link to Rob's "What Do We Know to Be True About Price Action?" And I read that
Hmm.
article, and that's what got the ball rolling. So I know that was a really
Yeah.
long answer to that one question, but I had to
It's
say why I was a small account trader, but why it was a big account to me. Like you can say it was a
yeah.
thousand dollars, that's a small account, but to me that was a big account because I didn't.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say the majority of the traders that I work with have $1,000 or less.
Hmm.
And the funny thing is that everyone knows how to trade an option, but no one knows how to buy a stock.
That's pretty good. Yes, yes, and I would
Right?
say if you're gonna start small account traders, if you're gonna start, don't start with anything less than 500, and then stick. And people are gonna hate this, and I hate it every time. Stick to shares, especially if you're a brand new trader. Your
One
very
share.
first year, stick to shares. Stick to shares.
Buy one share. Yeah.
Yep. And you're gonna learn so much more in 1 year sticking the shares. You're gonna learn so much more
Yes.
and build your confidence up so much more than 6, 7, 8 wins on options. But then the next month
That's
you
right.
lose everything that you made on these other options. Like you will
Uh,
trust me.
I really believe a lot of people do it ass backwards. They learn how to trade options, 0 day options, by the way, which I don't believe in.
Hmm.
And then after they blow up their account, and then you tell them to trade one share like Mark Douglas. I have a deep respect for Mark Douglas too on the
Yep.
psychology of trading, trading in the zone. Highly
Yep.
recommend the book for people who've never read it. And when I recommend that to a lot of the new traders, the majority of them have this response. But I'm not going to make any money on one share. And it's like, okay, so is it about making money now, or is it about building a foundation that
Mm-hmm.
you can build upon, or laying a foundation that you can build upon so that the money will come? And then you can start to put on size,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the most traders actually do that the wrong way. They put on size first, they blow it up, and then they don't understand,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Because you got
And
to
do you
live
agree
the,
with that?
yeah, you have to live to fight another day. Yeah, it is, I would say it is about making money. We all get in it. We all start trading to learn how to make money.
Right.
That is true. And the allure of options, especially the small account traders, is, well, it's half the capital.
That's right.
Not
It's cheap.
really. Yeah, but yeah, they it's advertised as being cheap because look, this option's only $3. But then they
Right.
don't, but it's in, I don't like using indirect language, and I try really hard on the weekend shift not to use indirect language. So when they say it's $3.50 for this option, it's really giving you the buying power of 100 shares. So you are really paying $350 for one contract, but you are
Right.
so used to seeing $3.50, $3.50. So you see a hammer
Yep.
in force and you go $300.50 gone, but your brain doesn't think like that. Your brain goes 350.
Right.
And then so then you get two contracts. Okay, it's only 350 twice. That's 600, that's
Right.
$700. $700,
Right.
but your brain does not think about that at all until you take that
Right.
loss and then you go, oh, I lost all this money. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not
Yeah.
making fun of anybody, but you're not
Right.
thinking like that because you're, the way options are sold, the way options are sold.
Yeah, sold
Yeah,
and
you're
and
manipulated into
spread,
that. Mm-hmm.
manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
I call it manipulation
Yeah.
because options, in my opinion, you shouldn't even learn how. You shouldn't even trade an option until you can learn how to go long in a stock,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And be consistent and profitable.
Yep.
Then we can take that next step, right?
Yeah.
then, then
Yeah.
then we can start talking about an option and how to trade it with time and the right way,
Yep.
and
And then
talk
take,
about the magnitude of the strat, right?
yep.
And say, okay, so this is where it could go. This is what it's going to cost. Oh, by the way, don't do a weekly,
Yeah. 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 And then,
but
and
buy
then
some time.
Yeah, and then the spread, that when you're trading shares, you can probably get away with a dollar spread because it doesn't mean so much to you when you're trading
Right.
options. Or excuse me, when you're trading shares, it doesn't mean so
Here's
much, But when you're trading options and you think you made $200, but the spread is $1, and you sell that thing and you make way less
yeah,
than you. Wait a minute. I thought I was no, no, you sold that thing for a loss now because you thought you made
right.
this, but whoop. Next
The
question.
reality check,
Oh, go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
reality check about options, and then we'll go to the next question.
Okay.
Is that you know and I know when the market gets volatile as hell, what
Mm-hmm.
happens with that spread?
It gets bigger. Yeah. Well,
It's
go
like,
ahead. I'm
oh,
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
want out, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want out? Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to take a huge loss in order to get out then.
Yes. And I had an option with I still trade options, but it's very sparingly. Okay.
Very small, like
And
I
for
do.
the
Yep.
Yep, for the kids in the back, sparingly means not all the time. Okay. And then and Um, I had a couple contracts on Chevron, and oh yeah, this is a winner. This is awesome, and
Yeah.
I want to sell it. But then we go to the volume. There are zero people to sell it to because I was one of the like one or three people that actually bought that contract at that strike price with that all that stuff, and I could not sell it to anybody. I could not sell it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things with options. So take classes,
That
learn options, learn the technical side, learn the deltas, learn the Greeks, all that stuff. I don't want to, it's not an options hating interview. It's just,
well, and I don't want to
yeah,
come
it's
across that
just,
way either as trying to beat down options. I trade options. Matter of
yeah,
fact,
it's
I
just,
sell a lot of puts. I sell a lot of puts. I sell a
mhm.
lot of cover calls.
Yeah.
But let's go to the next question because we could talk about options all damn night. Uh,
Yeah.
so, how long did it take for you to become profitable and say, I think I finally understand this?
It took me about 3 months to really learn the strat, but then it took over maybe a year and a half to really like say, okay, I got it. Like to
Yeah.
really understand, like to really like, okay, I because you it's kind of like it's like taking a when I do my weekend shift webinars, my strat camp webinars, I tell people you need to look at this as like we're going to go through the strat all in one night and you're going to have it all in one night, and at the end of that session they have to show me a trading plan based on the strat, and they can do it and it's awesome. And I like, you need to look at this as a self-defense course at like YMCA or something. Like I'm showing you how to do some holds. Here's some kicks. Here's some punches. This is how you get out of a bad situation. Do not go into a bar somewhere and try to save somebody and get your butt kicked. Don't do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You,
you. Yeah, you come over
you,
here.
the biggest
Yeah,
one in the room.
yeah,
Yeah,
you want to,
you,
yeah.
right?
What'd you say to the lady? Oh, oh, okay. So so that's why I say that to say, it took me about watching Rob's videos, watching his course over and over and over, and like talking to him and going to coach, listening to coaching sessions and all that stuff. So learning it 3 months, but then actually like, okay, I'm making money. I know what I'm doing. I feel good with this. It was about a year and a half, honestly. It's so
Okay. And,
because of the
and for me too, about the same
Mhm,
timeline. Before it
practicing.
really clicked, and it was like, wow, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm making money now. Matter of fact,
Mhm.
I know I'm making money because I watched my equity curve just start going like this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And in taking small losses. Some of my lessons, and maybe I'll write something up one of these days or do a video on it. But well, maybe I guess I'm doing the video right now. But my lessons came in like like steps, like milestones, I guess you could say, because I'm like, okay, I
Yeah,
learned this strat. Okay, now the next lesson is options. Okay, all right, options. You suck
yeah,
at options. Okay. The next lesson was, okay, you're good at taking hammers and trading shares. So focus on that. And then another lesson was taking small losses. And then honestly,
right.
a very recent, well, not recent. I'd say like last year, shortly after Rob passed, the one of the lessons was just because you're the Strat Soldier doesn't mean you need to be trading everything. Doesn't mean you need to be
Or
taking,
every day, right?
yeah, or every day. Oh, that came before that one. But yes, that way, yeah, or every day. And you don't need to be trying to make all this money to prove everybody you know how to do it. And, okay, so I'm
Right.
trading options. Now I'm trading um, futures. Now I'm trading all the equities still. And now I need to trade I really don't like crypto, but I got to look at it because they're going to think I'm not any good because I
Right.
don't trade crypto. Like it's just because I got this
Yeah.
name, and it's fun. Doesn't mean that was a lesson for me. Like I don't have to trade everything, and that's a
My
lesson for other people too, I think.
my mentor,
Mhm.
one of the best things that he ever taught me was, first of all, it's about making money.
Hmm.
And second of all, I don't need to engross or swallow the entire market, right? I
Yeah.
need to find a handful of stocks that I
Hmm.
feel comfortable
Yep.
trading. And all I need to do is be patient and wait for the strat to set up
Yeah.
and
Yes.
trade them over and over and over again. And so when I get a lot of new members in and they say, "Oh man, I need that scan that you have because it goes out to Pluto and back and it
Yeah.
tells you everything that's in full time frame continuity and which one's not." It's like, yeah, but how many of these do you actually know? Well, I don't know any of them. It's like, then why the hell would you trade it?
Yeah. Or yeah, and also what sector are they in?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it really just comes down to the best thing he taught me was find the one that has full time frame continuity, right? And
Hmm.
once it has that full time frame continuity, you can beat the crap out of it, can't you?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and it's a lot easier to trade those options to with something that's full time frame continuity to the upside or full time frame continuity
Yes.
to the downside. We saw
Yeah.
Walgreens get destroyed like the last 2 years because they started locking up all the little razors and all the stuff in the stores, and all
Yeah,
the shareholders were like, "No, man." Anyway,
screw that.
if you know it's going to the Lowe's in its full time frame continuity, it's that means it's there. It's red on the month. It's red on the
Mhm.
week. It's red on the day. And on these 60-minute charts, it's red right now. There's a
Yeah,
high probability that's going to work.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now
The,
people
the
get
one
come
that
to
I always show
with,
people is Peloton. You remember the Peloton days?
oh, Palantir, yes.
Peloton. I haven't heard Peloton, but yeah, Peloton, right?
Yeah.
Peloton was one of those,
Oh,
two up,
Peloton,
two.
Peloton. I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Peloton,
Yeah,
yes.
Peloton. The little bike with the,
Yes,
everyone's gonna
yes. I said
buy
the
this
wrong
ten
thing. Yeah.
thousand dollar bike or $1,000
Yeah.
bike. I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna get sued now for saying their name, but it's it was one of those where people are like, yeah, this is the next best thing since sliced bread, and I'm like, oh yeah, then tell me why it went this way and then that way, right? And we had several like that in the pandemic
Yep.
where they just spiked and then they just dropped, and
Yep.
people who chased that, they literally were left holding the bag.
Yeah. Big time.
And it was a bad day. But
Remember-
that's full time frame continuity. And I showed that to a guy actually this morning, and I said, listen, you could have gotten in on any one of these smaller time frames right here when the year flipped two down,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Find a time frame. I don't care if that's a quarter, if you're a quarter guy, a monthly guy, a weekly guy, or a daily.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Pick
Pick
one.
one. Be at peace at what you're willing to risk and sit back, relax, watch it happen. Because here's the thing: if it doesn't, they're going to get stopped out, and big deal. You know
Exactly.
how to lose, right? I've told
Yeah.
most traders, you already know how to lose. What's the big deal,
That's pretty good. I like that. I like
right?
that.
Everyone knows how to lose. Very few people know how to win
I like that.
because,
That reminds me. I teach this. I use this quote during my Strat Camp webinar. I say one of my favorite quotes from Bruce Lee. Everyone wants to learn how to win, but no one. The quote is actually everyone wants to learn how to win, but no one wants to learn how to lose.
yeah,
So you want to learn how to make all this money, but you don't want to learn how to lose it all. So I go through the top three ways you can blow up an account. Actually,
yeah,
it's two. It's actually two ways you can blow up your account. There's only two. One, trade with no stops. Just throw the money on.
yeah.
Doesn't matter. No stops. You're on
Cruise
your
the
way to
force,
blowing your
dude.
account up. And then the second
Yeah.
way is to average down on losing positions.
Oh
Go ahead.
God.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. I want
I
you to
think
do
we've
it.
all learned that lesson the hard way, right? Yeah. Well, but it's good. I'm averaging down. My
Mhm.
cost basis on this is just lowing.
Yeah.
And not to pick on a lot of people trading Tesla.
Oh
Good
yeah.
example, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Tesla's
Yeah. I'm just
Tesla's
averaging down. I'm just averaging down. I'm just averaging. And so, how
oh
far are
yeah.
you going to average it down?
hmm And how yeah, and you're not I remind people like you're not Kathy Woods. You're not Warren Buffett. Like Kathy Woods can average down her position because she has so much money till it means
Right.
nothing. But
Yeah.
you're a regular person. Like just take the loss, cut it, and then we'll get back in if that hammer goes in force on the week. That's on Tesla right there. There's a hammer on the week.
Right. And what I normally tell people too is it really depends on the account that you're trading or type of account that you're trading too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because you're going to trade a retirement account completely different than a cash account, or at least
Yes.
I do.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
So anyway, next question.
Next question.
We talked about. Oh, actually, it's how much of trading is mental versus technical analysis.
Mm, mm, your mindset is more important than the skill. Now, hold on a second. I'm going to preface that. I'm going to explain that a little bit further. The mindset's more important than the skill. Because we all know that 18-year-old kid. We don't know. They all got different names, but we all know that one kid who put a bunch of money on a thing and made a X amount of money on Doge or or Peloton or
Right.
or Palantir or whatever the thing is. They
GameStop.
just Yep. Yeah, they're an 18-year-old kid that doesn't know pain and they didn't have they weren't scared. Doesn't mean they're smart. They just weren't scared to put a bunch of money on
Yeah.
it and it worked. So you
Yeah.
have to have that mindset of you have to have a strong mindset to trade because you can go through all Um, there's a lot of technical analysis people. That's all they're technical analysts, and that's all they do. But
Yeah.
they don't trade because they're so smart and they know what could happen. So they're just too afraid to take the trades. They don't trade. They just
Yep.
show people this and that and what's going on, and that's fine. That's a job. But you have to be brave enough to go. Okay, I see the setup. I know where my entry is. I know where I'm going to put my stop. I'm going to do it. That's where the
Yep.
mindset thing is. Now we do want. Now we're here to learn the strat to do it on purpose. Okay. Now we want to create these winning positions, add to them, and defend them with tight stops. That's what we do. We want to do it on purpose. So when you marry up that mindset with skill, now you have something you can. Now you got something you can use. Now you got
I
something you
love
can
it.
use.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. 100%. 100%. We already talked about the fifth one, why trade stock versus options. We won't beat that one anymore.
We can do some more. Let's beat it some more.
Um, so, man, we could talk about that one for hours, right?
I'll give you a short
What's
answer. Here's a short answer
okay? Okay.
for the one share people, for the people or small position people. How about that? Um,
Yeah.
you know, 1 to 5 shares of a thing. Okay, if small number times a big number is still a big number. Okay, so um, if you are trading 1 share of Tesla, and we got a hammer that goes in for, there's a hammer on Tesla right now. That hammer goes in for us. I think it's like 310 or something like that. I got to go back and look at the charts. So someone's gonna say, well, it's actually 315. But anyway, um,
There's always someone like that, Jermaine. You know that.
yeah. So let's say it's above 300 to make the conversation easy. It goes in force
Yeah.
above 300. You buy 1 share. Now remember, you're a small account trader. You only got $1,000, so you buy 1 share of Tesla. If it hits magnitude and you make 200, $50 or $100 or whatever you put on it, that's still $100. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So then you take that, yeah, scale that to or take that idea and reverse it, and you buy a stock that's Ford. Ford right now, I believe it's full time frame continuity upside right now. I believe that's $10
Yep.
stock. You can buy that stock. Um, you could buy 50 shares of that. You could buy 100 shares of that pretty easily, and it's got a pretty good dividend. So you have a reason to hold
Yes.
it. So
Yep.
just yeah. So to answer question number 5 in a shorter way, I suggest sticking with stocks because it'll teach you how to trade without losing all your money really fast, and then
Yeah.
you will as a first year trader, if you just stuck with stocks, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, and then you're gonna make it back. So
Yep.
your only goal, your very first for the first year traders, your only goal is to put money in your account, and then at the end of the year, still be at that level. And then some people will say, well, that's a fail because it's what I mean. You're still break even. It's a
I didn't make
scratch,
anything, right?
right? But you still learned lessons through that whole year. Again, you made some money, you lost some money, you
Yeah.
traded it until you got back to where it was. Now it's December. You did not blow it out. You did not blow your account out. You did not, you're not
Yeah.
sad. You're like, okay, 2026, here I come because I know what I need to look at now. I know what these reversals look like. I know what um, I know what
Exposure.
yeah, I know what
Yeah.
earnings reports
That,
are now. I know
right.
what I know what a Fed day is now. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
That
So there
that
you go.
exposure, that participation, we'll call it. That
Hmm.
participation is so important for new traders. Now, you know I love baseball,
Yes.
and I'm a huge Cubs fan. And so a great example of that is Pete Crow Armstrong. Last year they brought him up. Guy couldn't hit a ball to save his life, right? Batted 216.
Wow.
But he played, they kept him up there for the whole year to expose him to major league pitching.
Wow.
So what did that do? That allowed him to adapt and adjust his stance and figure out what he needed to tweak. And now look at him. He's starting in the All-Star game this
That's
year
awesome.
because because he was able to take a good hard look in the mirror. And that's why I love baseball, right? Because the baseball is a game of failure.
Yeah.
Trading, when you first start, it's a game of failure. Now
Hmm.
you might get damn lucky and you might win. And that's like the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. because yeah, it doesn't force you to learn some stuff, you know,
Right.
and trading stocks allows you to take those small losses. You know, you
Yes.
like a scenario three. You're like a scenario three. Like I took Mike Tyson's. I got a meme, but I took Mike Tyson's quote. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. But I took that and I applied it to the strat. Everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face with a scenario three. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy. We're going long, and then there's this big fat
Yeah.
scenario three on the week. You're like, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't get out. It was too much, and
Yeah.
so.
That three bar will humble you pretty fast.
It will, but you can handle it with a stock. With a stock you can go,
Yes.
that hurt. But with an option,
Right.
you are watching this
No.
thing. It's imploding
Yeah.
in before your eyes, and
You,
if you don't, yeah,
you're like this. Right?
yeah,
Three
yeah,
three bar on an option is like, oh, please, Lord
man,
Jesus, just let me get
please,
please someone take this contract from me.
yeah. I just want to sell
Please,
it.
please, please. I give you a really good deal on this thing. Just take
Yeah,
it. Okay. House, you take it. I'll take $1 loss on this thing. Just
yeah,
like,
no
just get
crap.
me the hell out. All
Yeah.
right. Next
Next
question.
one.
Um, what does your daily routine look like?
So I still have a day job. Again, I said, did I say it in this interview yet? I'm still in the army, still full time,
Yep.
and so another one of the lessons that I learned was you can't be trading all day. I could not trade during the day. It got to a point where, and I'm going to get into my routine, but I got to say this to talk about my routine. It was 9:30, looking at stuff, trying to set things up, trying to put in orders to go to a meet to before I got to a meeting at 10 o'clock, and that hopefully praying that the meeting was only a half an hour because that's the bottom of the hour, and then I can look at and see what's working and what's not working, and then so it was a big distraction
Yeah.
with work. So sticking to the shares, my routine is I get up in the morning, okay. Um, do some kind of exercise, and then we're usually running or something, and then I'm looking at pre-market stuff.
Yep.
Pre-market is important, but it's not so important. It is important to know where things are gapping up or gapping down, and you know what's
Mhm.
happening, or at least you know what's going to happen or what to look for when the bell rings. But when that bell rings, that's the real price. So the
Right.
price is trading pre-market. I'm not saying it's fake, but when that bell rings at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, that's the real price because you'll see
It,
things. Yeah,
it's game on. Yeah.
yeah, it's game
It's
on.
game on.
Yeah, you see things are like way up, and you're like, I'm gonna make all this money, and then by the time it
Right.
gets, and then you see it come all the way down right
Yeah.
before the bell, and then you're like, ah,
Yeah. Like,
or
oh,
yeah, yeah, or you're like, oh man, I'm gonna lose all this money because it's
um,
gapping down, and then it's all
so
the way back up. So my routine is I'll look at pre-market stuff so I know what's going on. I watch Bloomberg News. It's not strat stuff, but at least it lets me know what's going on in the world.
right.
And Bloomberg News is pretty good. And then I just start the day. So
Uh,
then at 9:30 when the bell rings, I do nothing. Don't do
you let them
anything.
open.
You gotta let them open. That's right. Let them
Let them
open
open.
yep, for
Yep.
the first 15 minutes. For the moderate traders, I say the yellow belts and the green belts out there. Yeah, um, for you can wait that 15 minutes and then you kind of know what's going on and you
Right.
can trade. For the brand new people, wait 30 minutes. Just wait till 10
Absolutely.
o'clock. Yep. That way
Yep.
because when the bell rings, there's a lot of people trying to get in. There's a lot of people trying to get out. There's a lot of people trying to just figure out what's happening, and you don't want to get caught up in all that mess. So
Yeah.
wait that 30 minutes, and then look through. What I'll do is very similar to Rob. I'll look at SPY. What's SPY doing? Is it two up on the day? Is it inside?
Yep.
Is it two down? What's happening? And then I look at the sectors. Where are the buyers at? Okay,
Yep.
they're in tech and they're in XLE, and don't touch biotech because that's a piece of crap. And then maybe they're in semiconductors. So you got three. So then
Yeah.
I go through those sectors pretty quick. Well, it doesn't have to be pretty quick. You have time. Okay, you have time,
Yeah.
and So you go through those sectors. So I'm going through tech and I'm trying to pick out which ones have actionable signals, put that on a list. Same thing with XLE, put that on the list, and then semiconductors. So you always got AMD and the Nvidia, and then there's some other ones that do pretty good, but I don't know their name. AAIO. Anyway, um,
AAOI, yeah, that's
yeah,
another
that's
one.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So let's just say you got
SMCI.
yeah.
So I mean, you got all kinds of good stuff. Intel. I mean,
Yep.
good stuff.
Intel. Yeah, yeah. Well, Intel ain't that great, but yes, you do.
Well, not this year. It's not doing so great, but I mean, it's there.
Yes, true. So then you have so now you have stocks that are doing hopefully you have actionable signals on stocks that are but that the buyers are in, and then as the hours progress, you're trying to take winning positions in those stocks in those sectors. That way you can watch the stock. Let's just say for tech, you got three tech stocks that are doing well. All you have to do is watch the stocks, watch the sector, XLK, and then watch SPY. And then as the day
Yeah.
progresses, you're like, okay, hopefully it's all going two up. But if SPY goes inside, sitting inside, you look at your tech XLK and you go, okay, is this happening in tech? Okay, it is happening in tech. What's happening with my stocks? It's easier to watch it that way as opposed to just so that's trading that, and then that whole situation I just explained how to trade a simultaneous break. And
Yes.
yep, yep. So that's a simultaneous break in. When you are trading stocks that are all doing the same thing, it's a lot easier to manage than just trading like a Roblox or a Tesla. Tesla's not in a sector, just like a Tesla or
Right.
some other thing that. What do this company? What's this company do? They make double-handed coffee cups. Why do I need a double-handed coffee? Well, what sector is that in? It's not in a sector. It's a new thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. No.
It's gonna be delisted in like a month. But
Yeah.
I guess what I would add to that is that I have a rule. It has to be traded in the U, or has to be based out of the U.S. and it has okay,
Mhm.
because I cannot tell you the number of Chinese stocks or international stock that I have
Luck,
had my butt
LinkedIn,
kicked.
luck and coffee.
Yeah, Luckin's a good example, right?
Yeah. Yeah. See his
I
eyes.
got another
Everybody
word
out
for
there,
Luckin,
you
but
see
I
his
can't
eyes.
say it
He
because it
knows.
rhymes.
He knows. He knows and they were on Bloomberg News. They actually just opened their very first store in the US. So they think it's going to be a new thing. So be prepared for that stock to come back. But Luckton Coffee was something came out of China and was going to be amazing. And everybody made a lot of
Yeah,
money on it. And then it just turned
yeah.
into a turd. But anyway, keep going.
Turned into a turd, and then it went OTC, and then the next thing you knew, you were holding this bag of Luckin coffee, going, "Well, what the hell do I do with it?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
okay, just cut it for a loss and move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of my routine is whenever I work with individuals, I always say, okay, so what sector is it in?
Hmm.
Is it USA based? And do you know what the hell it is?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what it is, you shouldn't be trading it, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but those are my rules, and that's what I
And
try to teach people.
then that's good. And something that Jake, oh geez, Jake starts with a W in his last name. Jake. Well, I'm not gonna make it up. But Jake from he used to be associated with Trendspider. Anyway, he had a good. He used to post, and he still does. He'll talk about knowing the personality of a stock.
Personality
Now,
stock. That's right.
with that, you and I that kind of stuck in my mind. So we all know the stocks don't necessarily have personalities, but they do respond to price different. So, for example, Ford and AT&T. I know for a fact. Here's a positive for your options traders. If you want to start in options, start with Ford or AT&T because they're slow. They are so slow.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
they're
Those are
slow,
the
and
two
if they're
I always
going
point people to.
yeah, if they're green on the day, they're gonna go. They're green on the day, but they're moving like this. But they're green on the day. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna make $100 in
Oh,
2 years,
my
but
feed
I'm
just
doing
didn't
it.
cut out.
What's that?
Hold on.
Oh,
I
oh
think my feed just cut.
no! This is so much
No,
fun.
here we're back. We're back. Good.
We are okay.
So
Good.
yeah, I think we're back. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
to add to that, yes, I always tell people the way I got back into the game after getting my butt kicked,
Hmm.
I traded Ford and I
Yes.
traded AT&T because
Yeah.
they're liquid and they were affordable, right?
Hmm.
And when you have a butt whipping like I had on some of these, you just want to learn, right? It's not even about the money anymore. It's about fundamentals and just
Yeah.
understanding how to manage a trade.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I think my internet cut out again.
No. I can hear you. There you go, drinking
Now
water.
you're
You're
moving
back.
again. Now
You're
you're
back.
live again, so we're good. But other than that, I mean, Jermaine, with the rest of the questions that I had here, I mean, I think we pretty much have addressed a lot of them here as far as how to manage, what is discipline, and what advice do you have for someone who's new? I guess that we could end on that.
Okay, to finish the routine question, I always look at lunchtime till 12 o'clock. About 12:30, you'll see if they were buying in the morning, you could see it, they start selling in the
Mhm.
afternoon, vice
Right.
versa. So let's just say you got a put on something and it's working, but then lunchtime comes and they decide we got what we wanted and they start buying it. So watch lunchtime. That usually something usually changes. But
Yeah.
then if they're selling it all day, after lunch, they really mean it. They hate this thing. So,
Right.
for example, and then and then I watch around 2 o'clock, three, and then that pretty much at the end of the day. But lunch is, I just want to emphasize lunch is pretty important because you can see things. Either they're going to keep doing it or they're going to stop at lunchtime. Like, you'll see that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then don't for the routine on my routine, and I always try to emphasize this with others, do not get in the stuff early. So just because there's a shooter on the day, it's gonna close in a shooter as a shooter in the next 5 minutes, or as a
Yeah.
hammer in the next 5 minutes. That does not mean hurry up and buy puts or calls real quick, because if that next day opens and it's a shooter and then it gaps up and it keeps going, you immediately lost. Even before you didn't
Yeah.
even have a chance to win. Same thing with
Right.
hammers. I've seen hammers and then the price opens up way down here and it never goes in force and you are losing the whole time. So don't I that's a lesson that I knew and had to
But
relearn.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But had to
Yeah,
be learned
because
the hard way.
because
Right.
you think you can do cute stuff because you know the strat and you're like, yeah, this is a hammer. It's gonna
Yeah.
go in first. I
Uh,
know it will, and then it don't.
yeah.
So,
I always tell people, he who front runs usually hits the wall.
ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Um,
So don't front run and hit a wall because I mean again there are so many technical analysis people out there that they absolutely will tell you it has to do this, right?
yeah.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. I don't know how else to tell you. It
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? If it really played out that way, everyone would do it.
That's true, and everybody would be millionaires. That's true.
Right. And everyone would
True.
be a millionaire, right?
Hmm.
Because if I have a hammer here, I'm guaranteed for it to gap up tomorrow. Yeah, here you go. Let me work at my house and let me put this on there and
Yeah, it would be
all
easier.
in.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
So
And then your last question. You said you wanted to end it on the last question. I just wanted to finish that one.
yeah, so just if I'm new, I mean what advice would you give someone as far as, hey, Strat Soldier, dude, I Googled you, you came up and I don't know the first thing about a stock, let alone how to open up an account. I mean, what would you suggest as far as this is what you need to do?
Yep. So if I'm starting completely with someone that's completely from scratch, and um, I would teach them the basics. So, and the basics are very important: how to start a trading account, what platform to use, and then the difference between trading software and your actual trading. The platform you're actually using to trade. And then stocks. If you're looking for, you don't know what stocks are, and you don't know what to trade, look for products around your house. I mean, that sounds so dumb, but it's awesome. Meaning,
Yeah,
go look at GE. You got GE oven, and you got GE refrigerator. Go look it up,
right,
and then
right,
go look at Ford, Honda. Go look at Whirlpool. Go look at whatever products around your house. Etsy. I
Yeah,
surprised someone. Yeah, so I surprised someone that you can trade at Etsy. What do you? Because I'm just asking, what do you like to do? Well, I like to look on it. Well, you could trade Etsy. You know, well,
no,
you like sports. Okay, so did you know you can trade DraftKings? That's a
DraftKings, yep.
stock. Yep. And then um this is one of my favorite ones. Bud
Uh-oh.
Light. You can
Oh,
trade
but
Bud
yeah,
Light. Yeah.
yeah.
BUD. Go check it out. That was one of my
The-
favorite ones. That was the one that like I love this game. That's what gamified it for me. I was like Bud Light, So then and you remember how Rob used to talk. He would say, okay,
yeah,
XLP, and don't let me go on a tangent, but I am just for a second. For XLP, consumer staples, you got Hershey Kisses, Hershey's. I'm sorry, you got cheese ketchup, KHC. He'll call that cheese ketchup.
craft.
Yep,
Yep,
and then crap. Yep, and then he would name other things. So he would say in Chevron, and then let's just say Ford. So let's just say they're buying Ford. They're buying, so he would say today I want a car. I want some oil, and I need some ketchup. That's how he would talk about stocks, like just
yep.
really down to earth and funny. So anyway,
I think
uh,
one of the very first times I listened to Rob, he was talking about burritos. You know, how he would
yeah,
always say, and they're buying
burritos,
burritos.
yes. It is Chipotle,
And
$2,000
yeah,
stock.
yeah. One of the very first sessions I ever sat in and listened to him, I'm like, oh my God, I can't follow this guy. He's so fast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
the only thing that resonated through my head was, and they're buying burritos. Burritos are
And
still good on the 15.
yes,
Burritos are still good on the 60.
this guy's true. Hey, Discord, this guy's real. He knows. He knows. That was good. That was really good. So then showing people. Okay, still talking to a person that's brand new to trading. Monthly charts explain what the time frames are. A monthly chart shows all the people that bought, cut, or added to their position on the monthly chart, and then look for
Yeah,
stocks that are green on the month. That means they're buying it. And green means
yeah.
buying, red means selling. So look for stocks that are green on the month. For example, Disney. Look for stuff that's green on the month. And then another stock. Well, they told me about this at work. Okay, let's go look at the monthly chart. The
Yeah.
sellers are in control of this. Doesn't mean it's going to be like this forever, but right now they're not buying this. The institutions are selling this. So get all the stocks that you know that are green on the month, and then we'll talk about how to open positions and create winning positions in those. Then let's fast forward to someone that does no trading and then wants an introduction to the strat. How about that? Is that okay? Does that work?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
okay.
Let's go
So
with it.
so that's someone that's getting somebody to start trading, and someone that's been trading for a while. Where to start is look for things, learn the strat scenarios, and I can show you those, or Phil can show you those really quick, and then focus
Yeah.
on stocks that are two up on the month, and then
Yes.
create a watch list that says monthly, two up on the month, and then put as many two up on the months as you can find. And
Yeah.
then, yep. And then for your weekly chart, you can watch me on the weekend shift or you can do it on your own. You're going to look for hammers, shooters, or inside bars on the week to reconfirm what you're seeing on the month. Don't you get,
Entries.
yep. So you're going to look for what's happening on the month or who's in control, the buyers, right? Because we look for two
Yep.
up on the month, green. Now you want to see what's on the week, this upcoming week, so we can get in on what's happening on the month. And then as
Yeah.
the week progresses, you're going to make sure that the day still reconfirms what we're seeing on the month that they're buying this. And in every 60-minute chart, they should be buying. Now it doesn't mean every 60-minute bar needs to go green and it goes red, sell it. That doesn't mean that. It just means, if it goes red, okay, wait a minute. Are they taking profits? Is it dragging
Hmm.
down the day? Is the day becoming red? Is the week becoming red? No, no, no. Okay, well then that's just profit taking. It's the trend is still going, okay?
Yeah.
So, and then as you're trading, as you're watching Phil, as you're watching me, you are trading things that are reconfirming what you're seeing on bigger time frames. Do not
Yes.
try to do this domino effect thing where you're like, well, I'm going to take this 2-2 reversal on the 15 and hopefully it triggers a 30, which triggers the 60 minute, which triggers that's contrarian, okay? And you
Yeah.
will get
Yes.
burned more than not.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
I am so glad you brought that up because a lot of the people I work with, it blows my mind, Jermaine.
hmm
They're not making money, and so
hmm
we have a session, and it's like, tell me, what are you using for your time frames? Well, first of all, they'll start like this. I don't understand this whole full time frame continuity bit. And to answer your question, my 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, and 15-minute chart all told me, and I'm like, and you're using those for full time frame continuity?
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're missing the big picture. And so
hmm
what I'll do, I'll slow it down. I'll say, listen, the five time frames that I use: year, quarter,
Okay.
month, week, day. I read it like a book, right?
Yeah.
So my month, that's like my middle linebacker in football. He's the one
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
sees the
Rob used to
field.
say this. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's my middle linebacker. He's the one in the middle, sees the field, and he goes, "Oh man, they just went two up. Okay, we want this guy right here. We want to put him on a watch list." And
hmm
then once we get that actionable signal on a smaller time frame, like a week or a
Yeah.
day,
hmm
that's when we hit them. We don't take it on the 1 minute, we don't take
No.
it on the 2 minute, and we
Mm-mm.
don't take it on the five. And I think that's what I get frustrated with it because a lot of people really believe they want that domino effect to happen from 1 to 2 to 5 to 15 to 30 to 60 or
Yeah.
whatever the hell they're using.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you just slow it down and if you learn how to hit off of a tee,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I know that's boring,
hmm
you're going to make so many better choices and
Yeah.
you're going to be profitable. And the phrase I always use is, you know, confidence builds consistency and consistency builds confidence. So
Ooh, I
why don't
like
we
that.
build on that? Why don't we start with that?
Yeah.
Let's just try to make contact.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, that's right. That's fantastic. And then also with my example, if you notice what I'm talking about is organizing your stocks by condition. So two up on the month, and then your
Yep.
week actionable signals for the week, and then you can even have a daily watch list that says, okay, these are the ones that are good for the day, and then that protects you from information overload. So
Exactly. And,
and
and, and
that's
that's the number one thing that I see is that people are so overwhelmed,
hmm
especially new people to the strat, because the system they bought told them how
hmm
to do that with a 0 day option. And it's like,
yeah,
you're going to get your ass kicked. I don't care who you are, you're going to get your ass kicked.
yeah, yeah. At least, and start with small positions. That's the last thing I want to say. Start with small positions, and then add to them because when you start with a small position and you get stopped out, let's just say it doesn't work. You get stopped out. That's a
Yeah,
small loss. It's a small loss, as opposed to lots of stocks or lots of contracts. You get
I
stopped out.
apologize.
Oh, you froze on me.
Uh, Hopefully, this will recover.
Yeah, hopefully I can hear you.
There it is. There it is.
There it
I'm
is.
sorry. Now you're back. You're back.
Okay,
But
okay, I
you're saying
froze.
about starting with a small position if you get stopped out. My phrase is always big whoop. Give me your PayPal. I'll give you the $5, the $10, whatever
Yeah,
the hell you just lost. I
yeah,
give it to you. It's not that big of a deal. There's no crying and trading.
yeah. There you
It's
go.
okay. It's okay. I
Yeah,
mean, but
that's
but
fantastic.
that's tough for some people because they never want to lose. I'm still like, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, yeah, and
You're in the
and
wrong
and
business.
I like that your baseball analogies because to be a good baseball player, you don't need the best stats. Like you froze again.
Yeah. No. No.
RBIs.
Now I think I'm back.
Okay, okay. Isn't it like the average baseball player like strikes out more than they actually hit the ball? But it wasn't RBIs. Explain the RBIs. It's something like that. I'm sorry. Baseball analogies it works really well with trading.
Just know this with baseball. You fail more than you succeed.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's all you need to know from baseball about
Yeah.
baseball is that you will fail more than you succeed.
hmm Yeah.
And here's the crazy part: those guys get paid a lot of money to fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, didn't Bobby Bonilla just get another Bobby Bonilla check here?
Yeah.
His lousy contract.
Yeah. And you know,
I
yeah,
mean, it's a
and
great contract for him,
yeah.
but my point
And
is that that is the one thing that sports taught me, and that is you gotta learn how to fail,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then you'll appreciate the success, in the long run. And every trader that I know, and I'm sure you're no exception to this, right? We've all failed.
Yeah.
We've all dusted ourselves off. Hell,
Mm-hmm.
we've even looked in the mirror and said, "Can I even do this?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think people need to know that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like we wake up one day and say, "You know what? I'm gonna go kick Wall Street's ass today."
You should have that mindset. Let's go back to mindset. You should have that mindset. And then
You
the
should.
yeah, and then the best thing about the strat is when it doesn't, you're like you had a bad trading day, it's quantifiable. At least you can go back and go, okay, I didn't really take in a reversal. I just jumped in on something. I thought I saw something and I just jumped in. You can go back and look and see what really happened as opposed to you looking at your
Yeah.
indicators at the end of the day going, well, maybe I should add some more. Well, maybe I got my RSI set wrong, or maybe I should really get in before the MACD, and before they start to
Right.
curl. Like, you can go back and go, I just jumped in on this because it was two up on the 60s, but that wasn't a reversal. That was a 2-2 continuation. That's my fault.
Right.
You have that ability with the
It's
strat.
very true.
Hmm.
That's what I love about it. It's
Hmm.
a very it's very true, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you can go back and back test it, look at it, and you know why you fail for
yeah,
the most part, right?
yeah,
It leaves breadcrumbs and says, yeah, okay, you probably shouldn't have done that.
yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes. We can keep going and going and going. This is going to be 4 hours by the time we get done. This was fun, Phil. I don't mind doing this again. This would be great. I like this.
All right, I look forward to it. Really appreciate your time, and again, so great to finally meet you. And I can't thank you enough for what you do for the Strat community.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And where well you for I'm because I'm gonna put this on my YouTube. So tell everybody where we can find you, and then I'll do the same. You go.
I'll actually post I'll email you my link to my YouTube channel,
Okay.
and
Fantastic.
as far as the Discord server, if they want that, they can find that through the YouTube. Okay,
All right. Very
but
good.
the goal is this: take as many people as you can along with you and help them out.
Same. Yep.
Pay it forward. Be a
Yep.
decent human being, right? Because
Yes.
I've always told people there's enough money in Wall Street for everybody,
Yes. Yes.
right? I don't need to be the guy like Scrooge McDuck swimming in my golden coins. I don't need to be that dude. I need to be the guy that someone looks at and says, this guy truly has the heart of a teacher and he wants
Yeah.
to help. And that's what I see in you. So
No,
thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you ever see me with that, I will never tell anybody I got a full pot of gold that I'm swimming in and all that stuff, but there will be signs. You might see a Hello Kitty wrapped Lamborghini. I don't know.
Yeah. But in the future, if you ever have a public appearance or where you're going to give a talk, because I'm sure you've been approached by that, right, for public
Yeah,
speaking.
I'm
I, on the other
considering it.
hand,
Yes.
I'll never do public speaking because I'm scared to death of a camera. But
Yeah.
but if you ever do that, please let me know. I would love to meet you in person. Take
That's
you out to
awesome.
lunch, take you out to dinner, just to show you how thankful I am for you.
That'd be
And I'll leave you at
fantastic.
that.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. This was fun. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Take care. God bless.